Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Life's Unfair, my Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous playthrough series. Today we are finally going to be starting off in Drezen. This place was rough. There are so many encounters here, some of which are ridiculous. Like, I don't know how they expected people to do this legitimately. Cheese was the order of the day for me, but I 100% did it. Not a single demon left alive in Drezen, not even the optional encounters. Every single thing we took down. Everything. I'm pretty proud of that. So I'm just going to start off here. I just found this to be hilarious, this sequence right here. Erebeth and Queen Galfrey with their backs turned to archers standing right below the towers of Drezen while commencing the siege on a shaky, broken drawbridge, giving a speech to a bunch of dudes right in arrow range. I mean, I guess the archers are clearly blind or something, or they're enthralled by the speech. But I just found this to be absolutely hilarious. This is not where you give a speech to hype up your men, getting ready for a charge. This is ridiculous. Yeah, so we're gonna jump right into the content after this. If you do enjoy my content, please feel free to drop me a sub or a like or comment down below. Yeah, this it really helps out. So you can see they're bringing the battering ram in here, and we're going to jump right in right now. So enjoy the show. We're finally into Drezen. I can't believe it's been a long time coming. All right, so I, obviously wouldn't be Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous on unfair difficulty if we didn't jump right into combat within seconds of entering the zone. And yeah, so it's a bunch of Babaus, or two Babaus. Not too bad. So we take them out. So how I'm going to structure most of these, because there's so many combat encounters here. I'm going to show the beginning of the encounter kind of in regular speed. Then I'm going to speed through the chunk of the encounter unless there's anything particularly interesting. And then I'm going to show kind of the killing blow also in regular speed. Oh, there's a wand of fireball there. Nice on Darren. So now Nenyo can cast fireball. Ember can cast fireball. And Darren can cast fireball, although I basically never use it on him, unfortunately. And let me tell you, Ember is an absolute powerhouse now. I've equipped her with some stuff that gives her... There's a belt we pick up in Act 3. There is the Ring of the Salamander. There's a staff we pick up in Act 3 that makes her fire spells just insane. She's carrying my party now. It was initially Lan, and then it kind of transitioned to Camellia and Razor Fiend, and now it's Ember. Ember all the way. So you can see, all right. So how most of the encounters in Drezen work are, or how the cheese works, I should say, we don't fight anything ourselves. So initially I was trying to fight, and you can see it, right? There are those giants that are just throwing flaming bags of poop from the tops of towers, and yeah, just killed my dog there, unfortunately. So but you can see the general strategy here, right? Queen Galfrey and Erebeth are they're the actual heroes of Drezen. Forget my party. We just led the horse to the water, so to speak, and the horse did the rest. Now the thing about Queen Galfrey and Erebeth is they can die. But they get back up. So if you save, they get back up. But their health does not regenerate. So unless you spam save. So but then whatever they're fighting also regenerates health if you do that. So the way NPC combat in this game works, NPC versus NPC combat, is every time you save the game, the NPC's health regenerates a tiny bit. And that means the enemy's health regenerates and the person, or Queen Galfrey and Erebeth's health regenerates a bit. So you can stand back and just spam save. Look at that. Look at those. Look at that. Ash giants. God damn, that is ridiculous. But these first few fights are just, a lot of demons, Babaus, Schirs, things like that. Nothing too crazy. So this entire, basically, sequence of events is just the dog running around leading enemies to Queen Galfrey. I use the dog because his move speed is much higher than the rest of my party here. So you can see the next pack where it is relative to the campsite or the Crusader supply station, blah blah blah. It's a succubus and then some other tough stuff in that pack as well. Took a few attempts to get it right, but it's just, yeah, you can see how strong Galfrey and Erebeth are. And this guy is the problem. The Shadow Demon's Votary, he kills Queen Galfrey and Erebeth, but thankfully I'm able to, stay out of range and just save. Then they take... Yeah, obviously they take him down, and my party, you can see where my party's standing, just standing on the drawbridge. And those catapults are so annoying. Oh, they're not catapults, they're giants, but they're so annoying. They just do mass damage. I end up figuring out there's a better place to stand. So you'll see later on where I do move my party eventually. And Doggo, Queen Galfrey, and Erebeth are the heroes of the day. So after that, I figure out, right, look at this. You can break down the doors here. And so there's a door directly up these stairs here that you can't break initially. And then there's a door to the left and the right side you can break. But when you set the Crusaders to destroying the door, it triggers, enemies to spawn. So they will help. So Queen Galfrey will help with those enemies, Erebeth will help with those enemies, and the guys who are using the battering rams will also help. So this is really important here. Well, I don't recommend you break any of the doors this way, because for each door you can either break it down or have, your raiding party break it down, or there are levers inside that allow you to break them, that allow you to open them, and using the levers gets you way more EXP than breaking the door. Yeah, so it seems like Drezen is probably going to be at least 3, potentially 4 episodes long, just because it's so dense in terms of encounters and stuff. I'm hoping I can keep it, get it done in 3, but we'll see. I was initially hoping to get it done in 1. That was ridiculously optimistic, but absolutely no way. And then I was like, well, maybe 2, but no, 2 is not enough. Looks like 3 is going to be the number.
Yet another obstacle.
So, in terms of, these votaries, Shadow Demon votaries, any of the votaries, the Schirs votaries, the Babaus votaries, the Vrock votaries, they're all insanely tough. I think the Shadow Demon ones are probably the toughest by far, because they cast that mirror image.
Meditate on.
So you're going to be seeing a lot of cuts here, because there's really no reason to show all the intervening footage in a lot of cases, because it's just me running around trying to find the best set of enemies to take down, right? The most optimal set. Take down. So I go for the guys at the top of the stairs here, and you can see what I'm doing. I'm riding around on LAN. The reason I'm riding on LAN is because that way I get the best of both worlds. I get to move fast, and I get a ranged attack, so I can pull from a good range. I don't have to run into kind of aggro range, and then that's a bit of a mess a lot of the times. So you can see, right, I'm pulling the guys at the top of the stairs. So this pack at the top is really tough. Just look how many enemies there are here. There's votaries and there's all these Babaus in there. And trying to keep them interested in Erebeth and Queen Galfrey is tough. So you can see, right, if you don't stay kind of close enough, every time you reload, they regenerate health. And Queen Galfrey and Erebeth regenerate health, but the attacks do no damage. They stop actually attacking each other, right? You can hear the attacks going on, but if you look at the combat log, it's basically miss until you get into visibility. But when you do that, you get aggro. So it's really tough. You can see I'm running around here. I'm skirting along the edges, just trying to get into visibility, right? I can see Queen Galfrey there, save the game, look at her. So this is it, right? So you can see she was about to die there. I saved the game, and she regenerated about a third of her health just from the save. And then thankfully, that save saves Queen Galfrey. She's able to take them down. after that. And then we opt for this athletics check. Look at this. All right, you pass this mobility athletics check, and then you get up here, and immediately 2 Vrocks descend on you. Right, look at that. So initially what I tried was getting down, but unfortunately when you get down, you cannot hit them, but they can hit you. There's nowhere you can hit them from if you're down there. But what I do discover is that you can save before they land. So before you get into combat, you can save. And initially what I'm trying to do is, you can see there's another mobility check up there. And so what I figure is, well, if I can pass that mobility check, I'll be above them and I should be able to shoot down to them. They're melee enemies. But unfortunately, you can't pass the mobility check. And you're only really seeing my successful attempts here, but there are a lot of failed attempts where I was figuring out what to do. Right, as I said, initially I went down, tried to shoot up, can't shoot up, can't do anything, and then I tried running into the corner, passing the mobility check. Unfortunately, you cannot interact with that in any way. What I do discover that you can do is Nenyo, I believe, can teleport up there, not mass, just single teleport. If you had 2 teleporters, you could teleport her up and teleport the rest of the party down and do something from there, but in the end, I don't have access to 2 teleporters, and I don't really want to use a scroll either. So in the end, it just comes down to me fighting these things head on. Thankfully, we have summons, and we also have, there are some Crusaders up here who help out as well. Thankfully, and using their assistance, we are able to take these guys out. You can see my tank Razor Fiend actually went down. I was on the verge of death there, but Darren's heals, man, what ridiculous heals. And look at this, right after we take these rocks out, it's like, are you serious, game? Are you, the gift that just keeps on giving. Look at that. That, Mr. Anderson, is the sound of inevitability. Yeah, so after that, loot up, and then we head up here, and when I said the gift that keeps on giving, I was not kidding. So you go straight up here, and immediately, so I save immediately, because, right, you don't want to mess around here. But when I went up, I was able to run into the corner there, and stealth. So I was able to enter stealth. Right after going up. You don't have to enter combat. Like, if you stand where you come up, you will enter combat and be in trouble. But what I ended up doing was running into the corner there, where you can see Darren and stuff and Lan, and I entered stealth there, and then I didn't get aggro. And then I used Phantasmal Killer. I cheesed saves until I got a Phantasmal Killer off. There are 2 rocks up here. And thankfully, right, you can see I'm trying to save, I'm trying to go into stealth and save successful, but look what happens immediately after the save. Well, actually you don't see because I made a cut there, but what happens is the second Vrock actually ran into combat and killed me immediately after I saved there, but then I just reloaded, and then we did the good old Ember Slumber coup de grace. It doesn't take too much. Thankfully Vrocks don't have great saves. After that, right, so the reason you want to come up here is because look at this. You're basically able to kill everything on the other side of this wall by just standing up here and shooting them. They can't do anything. None of them are ranged. They're all melee. Nabasu, a bunch of Babaus. Look at this. Free EXP. Some Schirs thrown in there as well. They literally do nothing while you just stand up here and shoot them. They can't do a thing. If you need to get them closer to the wall, you can drop some summons down there and they'll walk closer. And then I make the fatal mistake of entering the doorway there, and woo, look at that. Bunch of Babaus Votary and a bunch of Babaus. Obviously doesn't go very well. We die, but thankfully we have a save before that. And what I discover is you can enter the bottom floor here. If you click on the doorway there, you can actually enter the bottom floor from upstairs. You don't have to come all the way down. and then you can loot up some nice stuff there and then exit back to the bottom floor. But then getting back up is a bit of a pain. And what I opt to do, so here, right, I'm an idiot. You can technically, there's a doorway over to the right side that you can open up. But I don't open it up at this point, right? It gives you 960 EXP, and unfortunately, before you can get to that doorway, there's more demons. So I had to get back up. Right, so don't make the mistake that I made. Don't enter this doorway down here and go and loot all that stuff. Just do this. So after you kill the initial set of demons by the walls here, there's another set that you have to take out. So drop an entangle and then drop some summons, and they'll all run straight to you and take them out the same way you took out the first set of demons. Really not a challenge. You can see I'm dropping summons there to pull them in closer, keep their attention, and then boom, bye-bye, Babau. And then yeah, so now we're good. Now we're set. So now we can enter that doorway down there, right, and loot everything up. There you can see there's a magic essence. There's a nice axe as well. That axe is pretty good. One-handed axe, looting everything up. And then here's what I was talking about, right? You can click that lever to open the door. So there are two ways to open the door. Either you can siege it from the other side, or you can click this lever, you know, gain 960 EXP and open it up. So at this point, I wasn't sure which was more EXP. I'm trying to maximize EXP. So at this point, I still believe that sieging was the best option. I was actually hoping that you could close the door again and then siege it from the other side and double dip on the EXP, but you can't. So if you've opened that doorway, you cannot get the EXP for sieging it. So I end up sieging it in the end, and it's a bit of a pain, right? In the end, I use Camellia to stand up there, you know, keep everything interested. The rest of my party just does nothing, stands far away. And Camellia kind of helps Queen Galfrey, Irabeth, and the Crusaders on the battering ram with these enemies here. So after you break down that door there, the camp moves. You get a kind of forward operating base position with a bunch of Crusaders, which come in handy here because there's another encounter down here which is ridiculously tough. Look at this. So this I just want to show you my failure here because I want to give you an idea of exactly what we're dealing with here. So it's like tower defense. I'm running further in, running further behind everybody, running back. I'm hoping Queen Galfrey and Irabeth can save us, but no. There are spellcasters that just destroy everybody here. And we're not able to succeed here. So what I think is, okay, we need a better position here. We need a better angle on these guys to take them out, and we need to provide some more assistance. So instead of going straight for them, what I opt to do is we opt to go into the graveyard here. And there are some easy encounters here, very easy encounters, right? Some Dretch, some Babau, some Schirs, but nothing that just look at the ragdoll there. Look, that guy got hit into last week. That guy just bloody corpse got launched like 50 feet. But you can see here, right, we don't even need Queen Galfrey and Irabeth. They're just standing there. The rest of the Crusaders are able to take these guys out. Not without some heavy casualties, but we take them out. So after that, we get a nice angle here, right? So the whole reason for taking out the graveyard here, other than the loot, is you have a nice angle. So I summon a bunch of my skeletons on the other side of this fence here. You can see I haven't rested here yet. My dog is still dead. I don't rest until way later because I don't know how many of those rest points we have, how many anything we have. So I literally save them until I cannot progress. And by the end of it, I think I only rested once before the actual keep. No, twice, I want to say. So you can see, summon a bunch of skeletons and then get into combat, and the skeletons do their, they do some work, run the rest of my party away because we don't want to deal with those casters. Save the game, and when you save the game, right, you're in a better state because then the people on your team that can regenerate. Unfortunately, the enemies do too. And then, yeah, it's pretty easy from there. You could see my... So the key to most of these encounters is just positioning. Just positioning everything correctly, make sure you're able to see the right people, make sure you're able to save. After that, right, loot up the place, and then so these athletics checks are pretty painful. There are a ton of athletics and ability checks in here. I hate them. They were the worst part of this whole place because just repeatedly failing though, and then having to go through the load screens is horrible. So after you get up here, right, there's an encounter up here right on the walls that you kind of have to take out if you want to progress. You don't have to do this. There are more encounters that you can kind of take out if you don't want to do this, but I recommend doing these because it allows you to get another forward operating base. So, as I said before, you're only seeing my successful attempts. You're not seeing the numerous failures. Let me tell you, the amount of time... So, it took me 21 hours to complete Drezen from start, entering through the gates to killing Staunton Vane and Minago. It took 21 full hours for that. And I'm going to compress that down into hopefully an hour and a half. So obviously there are going to be a lot of cuts and a lot of speed sequences. So yeah, we take those guys out, take out the Ash Giant there, and then go through. You can see there's a lever there to open up the gates, but at this point I'm still not sure how I feel about the levers. Now this encounter is interesting because you can see, right, there are two cultist archers. They basically do no damage. They're not a threat at all because they both switch to melee, and I literally don't think they can hit Razor Fiend at all. But after that, so that you can see the Ash Giant does not get involved in combat, so you have to turn off AI there, and you have to go into stealth. And then you could see, right, I'm trying to slumber the giant. He bugged out. Look at this. He's bugged out. I tried to slumber him. It didn't work, but he doesn't do anything. He just stands there and lets us destroy him. And yeah. Free EXP. Free Ash Giant, 640 EXP. Eventually, right, we opened up that doorway and we took out the giant, and then Queen Galfrey and company come in and set up camp over here, which you definitely want them to set up camp over here because I want to say probably two of the hardest encounters in the whole place depend on Queen Galfrey and Erebeth being alive. And not the whole initial siege of Drezen before we go into the actual keep. Right, we're proceeding along the walls here, and it's just... The Vrocks like the walls. They like perching up on these high places. And so I'm like, okay, I don't want to fight these three Vrocks. It took me a long time to figure out what I want to do here. Initially, I teleport down here, and you can see, right, we're between a Vrock and a hard place there. Get it? Drum roll, please. Yeah, so Vrock and those other nasty bugs. So instead of teleporting down there, what we ought to do is teleport down here. You gotta be careful with this teleport though, because if you teleport too early, the Vrocks just run away. They lose interest almost immediately and run away. And you can kind of pull them to you by running under that overhang, because they can hit you. If you stand under it, they can hit you, and so they stay interested if you run under there. So you can see, right, I'm just shooting them. And then every time one dies, I run back, or I run Razor Fiend back under to pull the remaining Vrocks, and then, yeah, it's just shoot and blah, blah, blah. After that, right, so there's another optional encounter here. Well, not optional. It's we try to go through the door that we just opened up, and there's a Votary down there who's a nasty, nasty piece of work. And I'm like, okay, we're not touching that. Initially, I tried to pull it with Entangle here, but it doesn't work. So he only spawns when you walk up to him, and so I leave him alone. Proceed to the end of the wall here, and you can see, right, this...
Last one for me.
That's the end of the wall there. There are no more. There's no more. That's it. And then, yeah, more cheese for the Daraknis here. You can keep them interested by walking up to the wall. So if you walk close to the wall, they keep edging closer to you. So you can see, right, I'm just shooting them and then move Razor Fiend up to the wall when I want to pull another one in. And it's just, yeah. It's pretty easy. Use Ember to lower their AC or lower their saves or whatever you want to do. Makes it pretty trivial. Just time consuming, but trivial. After that, we run back to, right, so you can see I haven't used any of my rests yet. Wilser Garms, we go sell everything we got, and now we're looking for the next encounter we want to take out. Turns out to be, we're going to be using Queen Galfrey and company to take out some more Deraknis here, which, yeah, she's able to handily do. Well, I shouldn't say handily. She actually died, and I had to run away, and it kills everybody except her and Irabeth. Next encounter, right, these are, sorry about the transitions, but in order to save footage time and, you know, make this as dense as possible, we're going to be cutting a lot out, as I said. So the next encounter, initially I tried pulling with Lan, but look how many Brimoraks there are there. It's nasty. So in the end, I stand my guys up on the wall behind Queen Galfrey, pull with an Entangle, and then, right, Queen Galfrey takes care of the rest. Here, very straightforward, easy encounter. After that, I move Lan further over here, and then we run into these guys over here, these two idiots who are having a conversation about hidden keys and a hidden door here. Right, they're having a bit of an argument. Interestingly, they never have that conversation again once you've seen it. Even if you load a save before you ran into them, they just, I was only able to see that conversation once. But they're basically saying that there are 3 keys that are hidden around, and you need to find them if you want to open up the hidden doorway there. So this is probably one of the hardest encounters in the whole place. Without Irabeth and Galfrey, I don't think this would have been possible. Well, actually, I mean, I guess you could have pulled them to a non-accessible section of the wall, and this guy, the Fallen Crusader, you could probably take him out that way. But the Retriever, I don't know if it can shoot you from down below you. So what I end up doing is I pull them, and then instead of running Camellia up the wall, I run her over here. And you can see, right, Queen Galfrey and Irabeth kill the Fallen Crusader, but the Hunter Retriever is able to kill them. And so it runs after Camellia, but thankfully, as I ran immediately, I was able to stay out of combat. Now you can look at this. Now notice where I saved the game here, and imagine where the Hunter Retriever would be. So you can see its shadow is running away there. So you can see where it was when the save went through. So look at this. It runs back to its spawn point. This is interesting. Kind of just highlighting the cheese mechanics here a little bit. So look, it's run all the way back up here. Kills me, but now I reload the game that I saved, and look where it is. Look at where it is. It's here. It's here. Right, that is now its reset. Its reset point. And I'm like, oh my god, can Camellia get by this thing? Thankfully, she's able to get by it. And right, so we enter. I bring my whole party along for the ride this time, and we pass a mobility check to get back down, and now we have a better angle on it. Queen Galfrey, Irabeth are both alive again, and we just pull the Hunter Retriever into them. Right, it doesn't go down immediately, but it's pretty trivial after that. Boom. Petrification. Yeah, don't get petrified. So one of the reasons you don't want to fight these things head on is because petrification, it's not fun to deal with. Thankfully I've never had to deal with it, but there aren't many spells. I don't think you even get any spells that allow you to get your characters out of petrification until like level 12 or something. So after that, we take out these guys here. I just wanted to highlight that Scimitar of the Wind. It's a pretty nice weapon. I actually end up using it. And then these keyholes here to proceed. I think that's going to be where we end for today. Tomorrow when we pick up, we're just going to be continuing on in Siege And yeah, thanks for joining me. See you in the next one.